Mr. Mustache MMA News. Today, I want to discuss a really exciting upcoming featherweight matchup on the Johnny Walker versus Magomed Ankalaev 2 card. But before we get into it, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button to continue getting more MMA content by yours truly, and to also help the channel grow. Alright guys, getting right into it, we got Westin Wilson taking on Silva in the featherweight division upcoming January 13th on the prelims, in a fight that has finish written all over it, right? Starting with Westin Wilson, 11 wins by submission, several different types of submissions, guillotines, rear naked chokes, side chokes, arm bars. The guy really has a plethora of weapons when it comes to the ground game and being able to finish on the ground. But don't let that fool you when it comes to his striking. The guy's got 5 wins by knockout. He comes out of upstate kickboxing, where if you're familiar with that, that is the school where Wonderboy Thompson comes from, that his dad also owns. So, I mean, talk about having the world's best kickboxers as your coaches, and his style, his footwork, his striking, the way he holds his hands, the way he goes in and out. If you've seen a Westin Wilson fight, you know exactly. He has a very similar footwork and style that Wonderboy Thompson has himself. Don't get it wrong, he's no Wonderboy. He's kind of stiff, not super fast, but he's able to fool these guys, have that confidence to have his hands down to where he can be a little bit more free-flowing. He throws a lot of kicks out there, but it showed in his Joe Anderson Brito fight where he got finished in the first round, and also the fight that he had against Teruto Ishihara, former UFC bantamweight. They fought in XMMA, I think, in 2022, where, I mean, Westin just, I mean, he got slept, right? And I think with him coming out of upstate kickboxing and him getting slept by a guy, I mean, Ishihara, he's a killer, don't get me wrong. Like, the guy fought the best of the best when he was in the bantamweight division in the UFC. But, I mean, for Westin to come out there and he looked very slow, he looked very stiff, he looked no Wonder Boy. Now, I think that his style and his footwork and his karate stance can definitely help with his distance making, but it's really on the ground where this guy shines. I mean, he's got 11 wins by submission. Most of his fights in general, I mean, have all been by finish. And this is going to be the story, I think, for most of this breakdown. I mean, he's only had 2 of his fights go by decision, and they were both losses. But every single fight that he's won, he's gone out there and finished his opponent. So, I mean, the goal for him, I mean, really is to let his striking at least do well enough to where he can get the fight on the ground and just kind of do what he does. Because once it gets to the ground, he's very aggressive, very fast, does not waste any time. But going against his opponent, Silva, who here is going to be making his UFC debut, I think he's 10-2 or 11-2. I mean, what is to not like about this guy? He goes for the kill, pressure, 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 do or die. He also has a sick guillotine choke in his own right. I think it was 2 or 3 of his victories via guillotine that was just tight and killer. I mean, he went out there, dropped his opponent, and followed up with very good fight IQ. Now, my worry is, though, going against a guy like Westin Wilson, if Jayon is not able to put him out cold, if he follows him down to the ground, what type of fight are we really going to see? That's going to be interesting, because that's where Westin really shines, is really in the grappling department against a guy like Silva, who more shines in the striking department. We have our typical grappler versus striker, but really, I mean, both guys, they're finishers. That's just the best way that I can go out there and put it. But these guys, I mean, between like the 35, 36 fights between them, I'd say maybe only 5 fights total have gone to decision, win or lose. So I think here we're going to have 2 fighters who are going to go out and look for the finish. But for Silva, his path to victory is just to keep Westin off of him, manage that tricky kickboxing stance, and put him out cold with his vicious 1 knockout power. I mean, he's done it time and time again where he hits these dudes and they just fucking fall. Got a flying knee knockout also as well on his resume. So the guy, he's willing to go out there and throw some really dynamic strikes, but with a lot of power behind them, bad intentions. This guy's a fucking assassin. So, I mean, I had this as a pick'em fight. I mean, I really think this can go either way, because I can see Silva just absolutely sleeping Westin Wilson. But then I can also see in the situation where Westin can maybe get it to the ground and be able to capitalize on Jayon's aggressiveness, maybe make him miss. Maybe he gets a little overzealous and just kind of overloads on his punches, overswings on his punches, and doesn't really keep himself so controlled. I can see that happening as well. So each guy, I mean, they really have a path to victory. I mean, Jayon, he just has to just tighten it up a little bit. Don't be so wild. Don't let the moment get to him, and stay composed. And Westin, keep his chin safe is really the best way that I can describe for his path to victory. I mean, if he can avoid the big shots, he can really find himself in a good position in the grappling department. Guys, let me know what you guys think of this badass featherweight matchup. Finish written all over it. But I'd love to hear your guys' opinion of the matchup of Westin Wilson and Jayon Silva. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today. Mr. Mustache MMA News out. Let's fucking go, fight fans.